All right, welcome back to the deep dive. This is the show where we take that huge, messy pile of information out there, sort through it, and give you the one clean, actionable path to really knowing a topic inside and out.
And today, we're tackling a real giant of travel. I mean, a country that's so wrapped up in romance and legend that the actual reality of planning a trip there can get a little lost.
We are, of course, talking about Italy, Italia. For so many of you listening, this is probably the bucket list trip. You're picturing the Colosseum at sunset, that perfect bowl of cacio e pepe, a gondola ride through Venice.
And look, that postcard image, it is 100% real. But, and this is a big but, you have to understand that Italy can also be a minefield of, travel pitfalls. We're talking about unbelievable crowds, tourist traps, logistical headaches. They can really lead to burnout if you're not prepared.
Exactly. And that is our mission for this deep dive. We've gone through the sources on everything, from high-speed trains to the secret of the ZTLs, from the unspoken rules of coffee to the absolute necessity of regional eating. We want to give you the map to navigate past all that noise.
Right, so you can find the actual living heart of La Dolce Vita, the sweet life. This is for you if you're a first-timer or even a repeat visitor who wants to do it better. You love culture, you love food, and you want to see the big sights, but also find something authentic.
So we're going to cover how to get around, where to stay, what to eat, what's unmissable, and this is the big one, what you can and probably should skip.
Let's do it. We have to start with the most fundamental thing, movement. Getting there and getting between cities. Because if you get this part wrong, the whole trip can start to unravel.
Okay, let's unpack that. So you're flying in from, say, North America. You're probably going to land in one of two places, right?
Almost certainly. It's going to be Rome's Fiumicino, which is FCO, or Milan's Malpensa, MXP. Those are the big international hubs.
And right there, at the moment you book your flight, there is a critical strategy you have to use.
Yes, the open jaw ticket. This one tip can save you an entire day of your vacation.
An open jaw ticket. Let's break that down because it sounds technical, but it's really, really simple.
It's super simple. It just means you fly into one city and you fly out of another. So you fly into Rome, for example, travel north through the country, and then you fly home from, say, Venice or Milan.
Right. Because the person who doesn't do this, who books a simple round trip to Rome,
they get to the end of their trip in beautiful Venice and then realize, oh, I have to spend my entire last day on a 4-hour train ride all the way back down to Rome just to catch my flight home.
And it's not just the 4 hours on the train. It's getting to the station, getting from the station in Rome to the airport, checking in. You've basically torched a whole day.
You've lost a day you could have spent exploring or eating or just relaxing. So the open jaw ticket, it just creates this beautiful, efficient, linear path through the country, no backtracking.
Okay, so we've landed, we're in Rome. Maybe we're planning to go to Florence, then Venice. What's the best way to move between those cities? Because driving sounds like a nightmare.
Oh, driving in the cities is more than a nightmare. It's a form of self-punishment. No, the absolute king of inner-city travel in Italy is the high-speed rail network.
We're talking Trenitalia, Italo.
Exactly. And especially their top-tier trains like the Frecciarossa, the Red Arrow. They are sleek, they are comfortable, and they are shockingly fast.
The speed really is something else. Give us an idea of the time savings here.
It's incredible. The main route, Rome to Florence, it's about 90 minutes. You barely have time to finish your coffee and a magazine before you're pulling into Santa Maria Novella Station, right in the heart of Florence.
And then Florence to Venice.
Just about 2 hours. It completely changes the scale of the country. It makes these epic historical centers feel like they're just neighborhoods apart. No airport security, no baggage claim chaos.
But this is where we hit the first big logistical warning. The trains are amazing, but you have to book them the right way. Crucial rule number 1.
You have to book your high-speed tickets in advance. It's not a suggestion.
Why is it so critical?
Because Italian rail runs on dynamic pricing, just like an airline. If you walk up to the counter at Termini Station in Rome and try to buy a ticket for the next train to Florence, you are going to pay a massive premium.
Like, how much more are we talking?
The price can easily be double or even triple what you would have paid online a few weeks earlier. A 30-euro ticket can become a 90 or 100-euro ticket. And on busy days, the train might just be sold out.
So the move is to go on the Trenitalia or Italo app or a third-party site weeks or even a month or two ahead of time.
As soon as you know your itinerary, book the trains. It's the single biggest way to save money on logistics. You are literally rewarded for planning.
Okay, so that's the high-speed trains. But what about the slower regional trains? The ones you might take to a smaller town in Tuscany Or out to the Cinque Terre, there's another trap there, right?
A huge trap. This is crucial rule number 2, and it trips up so many people. It's the validation rule.
The validation rule. Okay, explain this because it sounds a little old-fashioned.
It is, but they are incredibly strict about it.
Yeah.
It only applies to regional trains where you have a paper ticket. So you buy this little paper ticket, and even though it has your destination on it, it is not considered a valid ticket for travel.
Not until you do what?
Not until you stamp it. You have to find one of these little machines on the platform. They're usually green or yellow, mounted on a wall or a pole. You stick your ticket in, and it makes a kerchunk sound and prints the date and time on it. That activates the ticket.
And what happens if you don't? If you just get on the train with your unstamped ticket?
The conductor comes around, and they will fine you on the spot. And the fines are hefty, like 50 or 60 euros per person. And they have heard every excuse. I didn't know. Does not work.
So it's seen as trying to ride for free, basically.
It's seen as attempted fare evasion, yeah. It's such a small, easy step to take, but forgetting it is a very expensive mistake.
All right, so trains between the big cities. But let's talk about that dream. That vision of driving a little Fiat through the Tuscan hills with the cypress trees.
And that vision is absolutely real and completely justified if you're in the countryside. Renting a car is, without a doubt, the best way to explore rural Italy. Tuscany, Umbria, Sicily. You can't get to the hilltop towns or the little family wineries with public transport.
So the car is for the country, which brings us to the massive flashing red lights warning.
Do not, under any circumstances, attempt to drive in a major Italian city. Don't drive in Rome, don't drive in Florence, don't drive in Naples.
Why not? I mean, apart from the chaos.
The chaos is one thing, the confusing one-way streets, the lack of parking. But the real danger, the one that costs people hundreds and hundreds of euros, is the ZTL.
The ZTL Zona a Traffico Limitato, a limited traffic zone. This is probably the most expensive mistake a tourist can make in Italy.
It really is. Basically, the historic centers of almost all Italian cities are protected. They're off-limits to unauthorized traffic to preserve the old buildings and reduce congestion.
And they're most with a sign, but it's easy to miss.
It's a circular white sign with a red border. But when you're stressed, trying to navigate, looking at your GPS, it's so easy to just drive right past it. And there's no gate, there's no person stopping you.
Right, because the enforcement mechanism is way more high-tech.
It's all automated. There are high-resolution cameras at every single entry point. The second your rental car's license plate crosses that line, a picture is taken. You don't know what happened.
And then you go home, you have a great trip, you forget all about it.
And 3, 6, sometimes even 9 months later, you get a letter in the mail from your credit card company. The rental agency has charged you for the fine, which could be 150 euros, plus their own administrative fee for handling it, which can be another 50 euros.
And if you drove in and out of the zone a few times while you were lost?
You get a fine for each time you entered. I've heard stories of people getting a bill for 500 or 600 euros. It's brutal.
So the rule has to be, park outside the city center, find a garage outside the ZTL, and walk or take a taxi in.
It's the only way. So that's our movement triad. Train between the big cities, walk inside the cities, and only rent a car for the countryside. Get that right, and you're already ahead of the game.
Okay, that is a masterclass in logistics. Now that we know how to move, let's talk about where you should stay and how you adapt to the unique pace of Italian life.
Right, where you choose your home base is so important for managing the crowds and your own sanity. Let's take Rome. The temptation is to get a hotel right next to the Pantheon or the Trevi Fountain.
Which sounds great in theory.
But in reality, it means the second you step out your door, you are in a massive, crushing sea of people. And everything around you, the cafes, the restaurants, is priced for tourists.
So the strategy is to stay in a real neighborhood, somewhere you can escape to at the end of the day.
Exactly. My top pick for Rome is Trastevere. It's just across the Tiber River. It has that classic look, the cobblestones, the ivy crawling up the buildings, and it is packed with some of the best, most authentic restaurants in the city.
It's got a great vibe at night, too. Really lively. What about somewhere a little bit quieter?
Then you look at a neighborhood like Prati. It's right near the Vatican. It feels a bit more residential, more modern. It's where Romans live and work. You get a sense of daily life, but you're still just a short walk or a quick metro ride from all the main sites.
And in Florence, the city is so much smaller, much more walkable.
It is. But the same principle applies. The area around the Duomo is just a constant swarm. The pro move is to cross the Arno River and stay in the Oltrarno district.
The other side of the Arno.
Right. It's traditionally the artisan quarter. You'll find leather workshops, little jewelers, and incredible tiny family-run trattorias. It's quieter, more authentic, and you're still only a 10-minute walk from the heart of everything.
So location is key. What about the type of place to stay? Hotels, Airbnbs, or something a little more unique?
Well, the small family-run Italian hotels can be fantastic. They have so much character, and the staff can be your best resource. They'll tell you which restaurant to go to, how to catch the right bus. They're like a personal concierge.
And an apartment, an Airbnb, that gives you a kitchen, which is a big deal.
A kitchen is a total game changer. It means you can go to the local market in the morning, buy some amazing bread, some prosciutto, some incredible cheese, and have a simple breakfast at home. It saves money, but more importantly, it connects you to the local food culture.
But if you're going into the countryside, there is one type of accommodation that is just on another level.
The agriturismo. This is, for me, an absolutely essential Italian experience.
So what exactly is an agriturismo? It translates to farm stay, right?
It's a working farm that also offers rooms to guests. You could be a vineyard in Tuscany, an olive grove in Umbria, and the whole point is this deep connection to the land of the food.
So you're eating food that's grown right there.
Almost exclusively. You'll often have dinner there, and the menu is whatever was harvested that day. The olive oil is from their trees, the wine from their grapes, the pasta sauce is made with tomatoes from their garden. It is the purest expression of Italian cuisine.
That sounds like the perfect antidote to the chaos of the big cities.
It is. You wake up to silence instead of scooters. It completely resets you. It's slow, it's authentic, and it gives you a respect for the ingredients that you then carry with you for the rest of the trip.
Okay, speaking of chaos, let's talk about the cultural vibe. Because Italy is intense. It's loud, it's passionate.
It is a beautiful chaos. I mean, communication is a full contact sport. People talk with their hands, they're expressive, they're passionate. What might sound like a furious argument to an outsider is probably just two friends deciding where to get lunch. You have to lean into it.
And the traffic in a city like Rome, it feels like there are no rules.
It operates on a system of assertive trust. It's a dance. As a pedestrian, you can't just wait on the curb for a gap. It will never come. You have to make eye contact, step out confidently, and trust that the river of cars and Vespas will flow around you.
It's a high-stakes ballet, I've heard it called.
That's a perfect description. And this idea of presentation of confidence, it all ties into a really core cultural concept you need to understand, which is la bella figura.
The beautiful figure. It's about more than just dressing well.
Or it's so much deeper than that. It's about making a good impression, yes, but it comes from a place of respect. Respect for yourself, respect for others, respect for the place you're in. It's about conducting yourself with a certain grace and composure.
So how would a tourist see that in action?
You see it in the way people dress up, just to take an evening stroll, the passeggiata. You see it in the beautiful presentation of food, even in a simple cafe. And you see it in how people handle frustration.
So losing your temper in public, shouting at a waiter because the service is slow?
That is the ultimate violation of la bella figura. It's considered incredibly poor form. You're creating a bad scene, an ugly moment. The Italian way is to handle it with a bit of a sigh, maybe a wry comment, but never a loud, angry confrontation. Understanding that will change how you interact with everyone.
That's a really powerful insight. Okay, let's use that passion and turn to the food. For most people, this is the main event.
It absolutely is. And it's also where people make the biggest mistakes. The number one cardinal rule you have to burn into your brain is the rule of regionality.
You've said it before, but let's hammer this home. There is no such thing as Italian food.
There isn't. There is Roman food and Florentine food and Venetian food and Sicilian food, and they are all radically different. Looking for spaghetti bolognese in Rome is like looking for a Philly cheesesteak in New Orleans. It doesn't belong there.
Okay, let's anchor this. What are the must-eats in our main cities? Let's start with Rome.
In Rome, it is all about the four classic pastas. You have carbonara, which is egg yolk, guanciale, that's cured pork, giallo pecorino cheese, and black pepper. No cream, ever.
Right. Then there's amatriciana.
Which is basically the same base, but with tomatoes. Then Grecia, which is like a carbonara without the egg. And finally, cacio e pepe, the simplest of all, just pecorino cheese and black pepper, emulsified with pasta water into this creamy sauce. Those four are the pillars of Roman cuisine.
Okay, moving north to Florence, the food gets heartier, right? More meat-focused.
Completely. In Florence, the main event is the bistecca alla fiorentina. It's this enormous, thick-cut T-bone steak cooked over coals.
And there's a rule about how it's cooked, isn't there?
There is one rule. It is served rare, very rare, blue in the middle. If you ask for it medium or, God forbid, well done, the chef will either refuse to serve you or will be deeply personally insulted.
And it's huge you're meant to share it.
Oh yeah, it's for 2 or 3 people at least. It's a celebration, you share the steak, you drink some Chianti. That is the Florentine experience.
So we have Roman pasta, Florentine steak. Now how do we avoid the tourist traps and find the good stuff?
It's actually pretty easy. The first test is the menu test. If you see a restaurant with a laminated menu translated in 6 languages with glossy pictures of the food,
Walk away.
run away. And if there's a host standing outside practically begging you to come in, that's another huge red flag. Good Italian restaurants do not need to beg.
So what's the strategy?
The 3-block rule. Walk 3 blocks away from any major tourist attraction, the Colosseum, the Spanish Steps, St. Mark's Square. The crowds thin out, the prices drop, and the quality of the food skyrockets. Look for a small place, maybe with a handwritten menu in Italian. That's your spot.
Okay, so we know what to eat and where to find it. Now we have to talk about when to eat, because the Italian clock is different.
Radically different. Let's start with breakfast. It's not a big meal. It's a cappuccino and a pastry, a cornetto, usually eaten standing up at the bar. It takes 5 minutes.
It's fuel, not a social event. Lunch, pranzo, is a bigger deal around 1 o'clock. And then comes the magic hour.
The aperitivo. This is one of the best rituals in Italy. It's from roughly 6 to 7:30 in the evening. You go to a bar, you order a drink like an Aperol Spritz or Negroni, and it comes with free snacks.
And we're not talking about a little bowl of peanuts.
No, it can be quite substantial.
Yeah.
Olives, cheeses, cured meats, little pizzas, bruschetta. It's designed to open up your appetite for dinner and to be a social bridge between work and the evening meal.
And you need that bridge, because dinner happens late.
Very late. Do not show up at a restaurant at 6:30 expecting to be served dinner. You will be eating alone if they're even open. Italians start thinking about dinner at 8, maybe 8:30. In the summer, it can be even later.
So you have to adjust your whole schedule.
What?
Which brings us to coffee, and the most famous rule of all.
The cappuccino rule. This is the one that immediately separates the tourists from the travelers.
And the rule is...
You do not, under any circumstances, order a cappuccino after about 11 in the morning.
What is the logic behind that?
Italians consider cappuccino to be a breakfast drink. All that milk is considered very heavy and bad for digestion after a meal. After lunch or dinner, you have a cafe, which is a shot of espresso. That's it.
And there's a price difference, too, depending on where you drink it.
A huge one. If you stand at the Bar al Banco, an espresso might cost €1. If you sit down at a table tavolo and have a waiter serve you, that same espresso can cost €3 or €4. You're paying for the service and the real estate.
Stand at the bar, drink it quickly, and move on. The Italian way. Okay, this is so good. We know how to do, where to stay, what to eat. Let's talk about tackling the sites themselves.
Right. And the strategy here starts long before you even leave home. It's the mandatory booking hack.
For the really big attractions, you can't just show up anymore.
You absolutely can't. We're talking about the Colosseum in Rome, the Vatican Museums, the Uffizi Gallery in Florence, the Accademia where the David is. For these places, you must book a timed entry ticket online.
How far in advance are we talking for a summer trip?
Weeks, maybe even months. The official websites release tickets on a rolling basis, and the good time slots, like first thing in the morning, sell out almost instantly.
And if you don't book ahead,
You will be standing in a 3-hour line in the baking sun. It is an absolutely miserable way to spend a vacation. This one piece of planning booking tickets online will save you more time and frustration than almost anything else.
it's the highest return on investment for your planning time, for sure. So once you're inside, let's say you're in the Uffizi, which is just overwhelming, what's the strategy then?
Quality over volume. Do not try to see everything. You'll just get museum fatigue, Stendhal syndrome, and you won't remember any of it.
So pick your battles.
Pick your battles. Before you go, decide on 2 or 3 artists or masterpieces you genuinely want to see. Go find those. Spend a good, long 20 minutes just looking at Botticelli's Birth of Venus. Really absorb it. Then, feel free to leave. You'll have a much more profound memory than if you just rush past every single painting.
I love that. And sometimes the best memories aren't from museums at all. They're from doing things.
100%. I always recommend people take a food tour or a cooking class. I mean, a photo of the David is great, but the memory of learning how to make pasta from an Italian grandmother, a nonna, in her kitchen, that is something that stays with you forever.
It's about connection, not just consumption, which leads to maybe the most important strategy of all, the joy of just wandering.
And slowing down. This is where you find the concept of dolce far niente, the sweetness of doing nothing. You have to give yourself permission to not have a plan.
Venice is the perfect place for this, isn't it?
The absolute best. Everyone just follows the herd from the train station to St. Mark's Square. The real Venice is what you find when you take a random turn, get deliberately lost in a neighborhood like Cannaregio, and see kids playing soccer in a quiet square and laundry strung between the buildings.
That's where the city is actually alive.
That's where it's real.
Eh.
And you find it by embracing the passeggiata, that evening stroll with no destination, or just by sitting at a cafe for an hour with one coffee, just watching the world go by. That is as much a part of the Italian experience as the Colosseum.
Okay, that mindset is crucial. Now, for the sake of efficiency, we need to talk about what to skip. This is the efficiency edit.
This might be a little controversial for some people, but it will save you time and money. Let's start with the big one. The gondola ride in Venice.
Whoa, okay. Skip the gondola. That's the iconic image of Venice.
It is, but the reality is often very different from the dream. First, it is incredibly expensive. You're looking at 80, maybe 100 euros or more for about 30 minutes.
And the canals can be crowded?
They can be total traffic jams. You're wedged between other gondolas with the big, noisy water buses, the vaporetti, chugging past you. It's not always that peaceful, romantic glide you're picturing.
So what's the alternative if you want to see the Grand Canal from the water?
Take the #1 Vaporetto. It's the public water bus. It travels the entire length of the Grand Canal, from the train station to St. Mark's. For the price of a bus ticket, you see the exact same magnificent palaces. It's the best sightseeing bargain in Italy.
That is a brilliant tip. Okay, my big skip is about the itinerary itself. Skipping over ambitious.
Ah, the classic mistake. Trying to do Rome, Florence, Venice, the Amalfi Coast, and Cinque Terre in 10 days.
It's impossible. You spend half your trip on a train and the other half in a line. You see a checklist of places, but you don't actually experience any of them.
You end up exhausted and you miss the whole point, which is to slow down. Our advice is to pick 2, maybe 3 regions at most for a 10 or 14-day trip. Do them properly. Give yourself time to breathe.
Now, what else can we cut? Let's talk about Pisa.
The whole area in Pisa, the Field of Miracles, is beautiful and worth seeing. The tower, the cathedral, get the classic photo of you holding up the tower. But what you could skip is the actual climb to the top of the tower.
Why is that?
It's expensive. You have to book a ticket way in advance. And honestly, the view from the top is just fine. You're looking out over the modern city of Pisa. The best part of the Leaning Tower is the view of it from the outside. Save your time and money.
That makes perfect sense. We've already mentioned this, but my final skip is the restaurants that beg for your business.
Yes. If the host is out on the street trying to pull you in, promising the best pizza, the best pasta, just keep walking.
Because the good places don't need to do that.
The good places are full of locals. They're confident in their food. Trust the quiet, unassuming spot over the one that's shouting at you.
Fantastic. So we've gone through all the logistics, the culture, the food, the warnings. Let's come back to our original question. After all this, is a trip to Italy worth it?
It's a fair question, right?
Yeah.
With all the crowds and the rules and the potential pitfalls. And the answer is an absolute 1,000% yes.
There's a but.
There is a huge but. It's worth it if you go with the right mindset. If you do the prep work, you book your tickets, you plan your transport, and then when you arrive, you allow yourself to surrender to the beautiful Italian chaos.
It's that mindset shift from being a tourist with a checklist to being a traveler who is open to experience.
That's everything. You have to understand that the magic of Italy isn't just in the Uffizi or the Colosseum. It's in the quiet side street you find by accident. It's in sharing a plate of pasta with someone. It's in the moment you decide to just sit down and do nothing for an hour.
So it's not a seamless, efficient vacation destination.
No, it is a deeply human, passionate, sometimes frustrating, and utterly beautiful experience. And if you let it, it will get under your skin and stay with you for the rest of your life. It's a love affair, and like any great love affair, it requires a little bit of work.
And if all else fails, just remember the one simple rule that will earn you immediate respect.
Never, ever order that cappuccino after breakfast.
On that note, that concludes our deep dive. Thank you so much for joining us.
Join us next time as we dive into another topic and give you the shortcut to mastering it.